Welcome back to Valais in Switzerland for our final programme here from this weekend's action at the 2012 edition of the Rallye de Valais. Everybody's clearing up, waiting to go home. The weather has turned quite, well, nasty or good. Depends whether you like skiing or swimming, really, to be honest with you. It's been tipping it down all here today in Martigny. And also up the mountain, it's been snowing too. But before we get to today's action, we're going to recap what's happened over the last few days. This beautiful rally opened 3 days ago on Thursday in the wonderful resort of Crans-Montana on a plateau with altitudes up to 3,000 metres. It is a great place to go. World famous golf courses and wellness centres as well. But on the road action, this was Peter Schoen, the world debut of the Citroën. And that was halfway through the first day. And like I said before, my Belgian isn't really up to scratch, but I'm guessing that was something like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. But Peter Schoen with a dented roof and a broken windscreen still carried on, finished the day. He was #1 after the first stage, and that was the last corner on the second stage of the first day. So Peter Schoen did fix the car, carry on. The team did some great work straightening out the roof, put a new windscreen in it, and in all honesty, for the next couple of days, didn't look hardly any different to what it was before. So your top 5 on day 1 were Antonin Tlustak, the little Skoda Super 2000. It was a Skoda that would win the 2012 European Championship. That was Juha Hänninen, and Juha finished it up earlier on in the season, so he's not here this weekend in Valais. So it's up to Antonin to take care of all the Skoda fans here in the Alps. Number 4 after day 1. Nicholas Althaus, your newly crowned 2012 Swiss Rally Champion. We also have the Swiss Rally Championship going on within this international event as well. And Nicholas, nice consistent opening day. Only about 30 kilometres covered over the first few stages, but he got everybody underway in good style. This man here, Laurent Riche, #1 on the car from last year, #3 on the road on day 1. He's the defending event champion as well, with the little Peugeot, and it was all Peugeots at the top all the time after Peter Schoen rolled the car. Making a debut this weekend in a Super 2000 car, this is Sebastian Carroll. We got our first glimpse of what the mountain roads would be like. This was in the glorious sunshine a couple of days ago. Seems like a world away compared to now. Temperatures in the high teens. Very much different today. But your leader after day 1, Florian Gollon, a man who's had much success on this rally over the last few years. Normally in a Group N car. This time round in a 4-wheel drive, nearly 300 brake horsepower Peugeot. So Florian Gollon finished out, or rounded out the first day at the top of the pile. Sebastian Carroll second, only 5 seconds adrift. Laurent Riche third, Nicholas Althaus fourth, and Antonin Tlustak was 5th. So that was Thursday. This was Friday. Another beautiful day in the wine country. This rally used to be called the Rallye de Vannes, and you can see why when you get here. T-shirt weather for spectating? Absolutely not. Snow boot weather for spectating today it was. Peter Schoen picking up where he left off. Well, not upside down, obviously, but he picking up where he left off. Storming start with that wonderful new Citroën, built for regional rallies around the world. It's its world debut here this weekend in Valais. And Peter Schoen's first trip to the mountains as well. And what a car to do it in. Antonin Tlustak on day 2. Peter Schoen slipped down to 70-something's place. He was back in the top 10 at the end of day 2. Antonin Tlustak at the start of the day slipped back down the order a little bit. Gearbox change and a couple of other things that were broke were fixed. And Antonin at the end of the day finished 5th. He was over a minute adrift from the leaders, starting to lose touch a little bit. But that's always a difficult task when you're up against local drivers that are used to these roads and have raced in this rally so many times. Very, very hard to keep up when it's a foreign rally to yourself. So, 4th place. This was Laurent Riche. And Laurent having a fairly unspectacular day again, but still quick enough to remain in touch. All of the drivers knew what was coming today, i.e. Saturday, which were pretty much the toughest stages of the whole weekend, with very changeable weather as well. They just wanted to make sure they got to the weekend in one piece. Another man to do that in great style, Nicholas Althaus. Just watch these onboard shots. I'm going to shut up for a minute. They're unbelievable. And if you lose it, something goes slightly wrong, you end up falling off the side of a mountain and embedding yourself in someone's roof. When all these ski chalets up here are worth over €1 million, euros, pounds and everything else each, that'd be quite a horrific thing to do. So, we're back to live. And we didn't have a chance quite to get to the full race result, but this is your winner of the 2012 Rallye de Valais, defending event champion. He's making this race his own. It is Laurent Riche, 2 times consecutive champion on the Rallye de Valais. Overall, he managed to finish 54 seconds, nearly a minute in front of his closest rival. And I'm sure he's going to be one very happy guy indeed. The rally finishing slightly earlier than was expected because the weather was so rough earlier on. They had to cancel the last stage up in Verbier. So our roving reporter Stevie has managed to catch your winner.
Laurent, félicitations. Deuxième victoire consécutive.
Ouais, c'est génial, c'est génial. On espérait, mais après notre mésaventure d'hier soir, là, où on a arraché une roue, franchement, ouais, on y croyait, mais on était ce matin 1 minute 16, difficile. Puis bon, on a fait une journée d'enfer, dans des conditions vraiment incroyables. C'est beau.
Laurent is very happy with the win, especially after the puncture he had last year, the last day, with the wheel that broke off. He is very happy in these conditions to be able to win the race for the second time in 2 years. Et c'était comment la dernière spéciale? C'était un peu nerveux?
Ouais, et puis difficile, toujours des conditions difficiles. Il y a du givre en haut, tout était blanc. On ne savait pas si on allait trouver du glissant ou pas. J'étais fatigué aussi. Mais bon, ça s'est bien déroulé, on n'a pas crevé, donc c'est top.
It was very difficult in the last stage because there were some ice and some snow, and he didn't know if there would be grip or not. And now, maintenant, c'est une vraie tempête ici.
Ouais, c'est de la folie. C'est de la folie. Heureusement qu'on n'est pas allé à Verbier pour le deuxième passage parce qu'il aurait fallu monter les pneus clous là.
He's very happy that they didn't have to drive the last stage because even here in Service Park, it's a storm. It's crazy here. Thank you and well done.
Yeah, one very happy guy, Laurent Riche, 2 in a row, and that is one way. Is he going to wear it as a crown? I presume that is the inside of the wheel hub. Yeah, it is. So, Laurent Riche, 2 times champ here at the Rallye de Valais. It was his first time here in a Super 2000 1 year ago, and he's made it 2 in a row. Very, very tough rally to do it on, but Laurent really came good today when it mattered, especially on all the stages. And the gravel parts, he really, really drives well on those. And he's starting to make this rally his own. He's not going to repeat as Swiss rally champion, but I think this is going to kind of take the edge off that a little bit. Lots of backslapping and patting going on. As I said, he was 54 seconds ahead of his nearest competitor. And his nearest competitor was that man there. That's Florian Gonon. Florian started off the day in the #1 spot. And just for the moment, while they're all getting settled, and we're going to get some more words from everybody in the service park. This is the general view of the service area in Martigny, and it's absolutely soaking wet and blowing a gale as well. Now this was back to Friday, and on the road, finishing in 2nd place overall. This was Sébastien Caron, still doing great things. Moving up from the front-wheel drive classes to his first time ever in a 4-wheel drive car and absolutely making it count. Now, you just saw him there in a service park at the end. That kind of preempted this a little bit. This is Florian Gonon at the end of day 2. He was still in the lead. According to him, still taking things nice and easy, but, well, you can't take things that easy on this rally. You really, really do have to try very hard and concentrate a lot. And the 2 stages to finish out the day yesterday, Florian Gonon did that the best. So, confirmation of yesterday's result at the end of the day. Florian was in the lead. Sebastian Caron second. Nicholas Outhouse third. Laurent Riche, you can see there, he was over a minute behind. And he's just been interviewed as champ for this year's event. And Antonin Plustak was fifth. So we moved on to Saturday morning, and it was freezing cold, tipping it down with rain and snowing a bit higher up the mountain. We went to Verbier today, the heart of the Four Valleys ski area. It's normally a sunny plateau with over 300 days a year of sunshine. It wasn't like that today at all. It's one of the biggest ski areas in the Alps and a great place to visit. I went up there yesterday myself, and it is one stunning piece of the countryside. But this was what faced everybody on the morning stages today. A lot of snow. This is Sebastian Caron. And Sebastian, after the first few stages today, was doing very, very well indeed. He was still right up there, but then ended up having a puncture and dropping right down the order, which let this guy, Peter Schön, finally finding his stride with the Citroën. The brand spanking new car. He's learning the car and learning the rally at the same time. But as I said this earlier, much respect to Peter Schön. He's never driven on a mountain rally before, comes here, and he was quickest on the first snow stage. He'd never driven on snow before, was really worried about it, and did a fantastic job. Florian Gonon dropped from first to third in the early stages. By his own admission, he really did take it quite easily, but then when you've got a few 100-foot drops either side of you, I can quite understand him wanting to do that, to be honest. I'm guessing that wasn't a section where he was taking it easy, but this would have been. Look at the drop on the right-hand side of your picture. Coming up this corner, there is nothing there at all. No barrier, nothing whatsoever, except a huge drop. I did actually drive up some of these roads yesterday just to check out what they were really like. I had to turn back because it was quite scary, is the honest truth. So, Laurent Riche, out of the first stages this morning, was only about a second behind Nicholas Outhouse, but managed to take the lead going into the final stage, which was Col de Planche, which we've just completed earlier on. I was going to say it's only completed about 20 minutes ago. So these are the results overall. Laurent Riche wins the rally. Florian Gonon in second place. Nicholas Outhouse was third. Peter Schön with a fantastic fighting fourth place after his accident earlier on. And Sebastian Caron, after the puncture 2, down in fifth place, 6 minutes adrift. But in a rally like this, when you do get a lot of punctures, a lot of problems, and sometimes some accidents as well, that can happen. But Peter Schön would have been in touch for a podium position if he hadn't have rolled the car. But then again, everybody had punctures. Peter Schön rolled the car. Nicholas Outhouse had a puncture earlier today. Laurent Riche had the wheel brake. I think Florian Gonon was possibly the only guy in that top order that didn't have something fairly disastrous happen to him. So our poor little camera on top of the exposition centre here in Martigny, getting a right buffeting from the wind and the weather as the crowds begin to gather in the main hall, in the warm and the dry, thank goodness they all say, as we await our podium positions, as everybody's going to be coming into the hall and getting the plaudits from the crowd. So these are some highlights from the final stage, which was Col de Planche. You can still see it's snowing. It was just, I think it was snowing from about 1,200 metres upwards all day. And when you've got a mountain rally, that means pretty much most of it, to be honest with you. Tyre choice was very important today. Some guys went out this morning on snow tyres, some on rain tyres, and it really did make a bit of a difference on the earlier stages. Not quite so bad later on this afternoon, where the stages were at lower altitude. And the stage in Verbier did get cancelled because there's a proper alpine storm going on up there at the moment. So Nicholas Outhouse, there he is, finished second overall, managed to drop nearly a minute at the end to Laurent Riche, which is a shame for him. He's just been crowned Swiss Rally champ. That's Peter Schön, his first ever mountain rally. Had to contend with fog, snow, rolling over into vineyards as well. and did an outstanding job for a guy that's normally used to driving in the flatlands. He's not 8 times Belgian rally champion for nothing. This is Sebastian Caron. Sebastian managed to finish a fighting 5th. 6 minutes, though, off of the order. Such is this rally, the way it takes its toll on the cars, especially on the final day. The last stages are almost all on gravel. People pick up punctures. And also the snow doesn't tend to help as well, really. There we are, we're back live in the Expo Centre in Martigny with an expectant crowd awaiting everybody to come into the hall so they can show their appreciation for the top 3, and they are an all-Swiss top 3 as well, just to make it even sweeter for the home crowd. It really has been a fantastic event. We've had all kinds of weather. Like I said, we've had sunshine, we've had rain, we've had snow as well. This region of Switzerland, the Valais region, is one of the most beautiful places in the world to hold a rally as well. All of the stages are incredibly unique, very, very demanding indeed. If you ever get your chance, fly to Geneva. It's really not that far from there. We're only about an hour and a half to the east of Geneva. You can easily get here by train or car, and it's a wonderful place to visit at any time of the year, let alone when there's a rally on. The rally just makes it that extra little bit special at this time of the year. So Laurent Riche with his crown. That is a crown, that. I know it's the centre of a wheel, but it would suit him just that little bit better as a crown as well. Getting congratulations from everybody. He's a local guy and certainly knows his way around this rally. So I can see the cars just coming in from the cold, literally. So there's the guy that was number 2 on the road at the end of the weekend. That is Florian Gonon, and he only beat Nicholas Outhouse by 4 seconds overall. Let's just see how that last stage played out. Laurent Riche was quickest. Florian Gonon came in second, 2.9 seconds behind Laurent. Peter Schirm was third, and Nicholas Outhouse dropped quite a bit of time, 19 seconds off of the lead. So in that last section, Florian Gonon picked up 17 seconds, which vaulted him over Nicholas Outhouse to take position number 2 on the podium. And here comes Laurent Riche with fireworks and the crowd cheering as well. You could see the mechanics furiously cleaning the car before he brought it indoors. And that's as close as he's had to an accident all weekend. Nearly drives straight off the front of the podium. I'm so sorry, I'm smiling. That wouldn't have been the funniest way. After managing to drive nearly 300 kilometres on some of the world's toughest roads up and down mountains, if he was to drive off the edge of the finish podium, that just, no, it wouldn't have been funny at all. Anyway, there he is, Laurent Riche taking his place on the stage. We've just got one more guy to come in. I don't know whether he's going to be too disappointed with third place. This is going to be Nicholas Outhouse. He's been third. He's third this weekend. He's been on the podium in every single round of the Swiss Rally Championship this year. And he's actually had 2 event wins, so he can kind of console himself with the fact that he's going home as the Swiss Rally Championship for this year. And it's an all Peugeot podium as well. This is probably the trickiest move they've done all day. Actually, no, I'm doing them a disservice. Their driving has been just outstanding. Those mountain stages, I did that in the dry yesterday in a rental car, in the sunshine, with no wind, and no fog, and no snow, and that was bad enough. Now, what happens here, obviously, we're going to be doing the prize giving. This kicks off possibly one of the biggest parties in the whole of Switzerland here in Martigny this evening. That's Laurent Riche's co-driver, Jean Deriaz. And it's time for a bit of champagne, and by the looks of it, some tears to flow as well, not just champagne. It's been 3 very, very hard days in the Alps. French national anthem for the winning manufacturer.
Voilà les deux hymnes, le deuxième bien sûr pour le constructeur français. Dans quelques instants, on va donc pouvoir remettre déjà.
So the victor go the spoils. I may have mentioned this before, but he's now 2 times in a row champion at this rally, which really takes some doing, especially on all the tough mountain stages and on one of the most testing days I think they've ever seen here in the Alps for this rally. That's the organiser, Christian Dubuis, giving the big trophy to Laurent Riche and Jean Deriaz, his co-driver. 2 happier guys you will not find this evening. Drinks are on them, I think. Runner-up spot. Not how he started out the day, but I think he'll take it anyway. That's Florian Gonon and his co-driver, Sandra Arletaz. And the 3rd place trophies go to Nicolas Althaus and his co-driver, Alain Josette. And again, I've said this before, but I think he can console himself with being Swiss Rally champ. That will take the sting out of finishing 3rd at the last rally of the year. And now all the people in the crowd are going to be pleased that they kept their ski jackets on. Well, no better way to end your day in any kind of motorsport than a nice big champagne fight, because that means you did pretty well. Nicolas Althaus getting an absolute drenching. I'm guessing that's because he won the championship, but great to see happy faces and happy people. We've been talking to them in interviews for the last 3 days, and it's been all about business. Now it is all about celebration. And Nicolas there being interviewed by the presenter of the ceremonies here in Martigny. And these are the highlights and how Nicolas did over the last few days. These were in the sunny earlier stages, starting out in Crans-Montana and through Nendaz and everywhere else as well. This was the first footage we saw of the weekend. Little did we know at that point he was going to do that well once again. Really did bide his time very well. Stayed off the radar slightly, within touch of the leaders, and he was over a minute behind coming into the last day of competition. But everybody knew the weather was going to change, tyre choices were going to be incredibly important, and that is exactly how it worked out. That Peugeot's just had a nice wash in champagne as well, by the looks of it. Just want to take this quiet moment as well to thank all of you for joining us over the last few days for the coverage of the Rally de Valais 2012. We really do hope you've enjoyed it. I want to say big thanks as well to all the drivers for giving us so much to talk about, the crew as well, all of our team hanging out of helicopters, getting nice close-ups of cows and things like that over the last few days. They've been absolutely fantastic. Also to the organisation here for the Rally de Valais here in Martigny. They really are second to none. They've done a top-notch job and organised a fantastic rally once again. So these are some highlights from Nicolas Althaus. He will be wearing the big #1 next year by virtue of winning the championship. He came into this weekend knowing he could just relax, enjoy himself, and just do a bit of a victory parade in front of the home crowd, and he certainly did do that. Anytime you get on the podium, it's a good thing. And Nicholas keeping the Peugeot streak alive as well, and making sure it was top 3 for all of them. He's even got glitter on his face as well. How cool is that? Get to win the rally, drench everybody in champagne and wear glitter too. And that's Florian Gonon being interviewed as well. Florian with a just superb effort to nip past Nicholas Outhouse for the 2nd place overall. I say nip past, he did start the day in the lead, but he said earlier on that he really didn't push as hard as he thought he could on the earlier stages. Everybody was so worried about punctures. Obviously, when there's snow on the ground as well, that makes it extra difficult. But Florian Gonon has got just about as much experience in this rally as anybody. But doing a good job in the wet, good job in the snow, and a good job on the first day in the dry as well. So we take our last final look at everybody on the podium and the last final pictures over the last 3 days of what's been a fantastic storybook edition of this year's event, and confirmation of the results. Laurent Riche, the winner. Florian Gonon 54 seconds down. Nicholas Outhouse 58 seconds behind as well. Just got nipped for that 2nd place. Peter Schoen, sterling effort from him in 4th spot. And Sébastien Caron, not a bad debut at all, with the Super 2000 down there in 5th place. So we're going to show you some of the edited highlights from the last few days, as put together by our wonderful crew, been working diligently to bring you all these pictures. They've done an absolutely fantastic job as well. Now I've just said that, the beers are on them tonight. So Florian Gonon. There's Laurent Riche. As we say goodbye from the Rallye du Valais here in the Alps. We really hope to see you again here next year. Those are the happy faces of the top 3. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you all next year.